All right, with this tutorial, we're going to look a little bit deeper into Bridge. You guys have used this a little bit to upload your pictures from your camera to the computer, but we're going to go over some of the different features that are on Bridge and see what else it can do for you to make it easier for you to produce your pictures, to edit them, to narrow them down, and to make some changes with them. So this is the way it looks when your pictures come in, and you're going to have them all in different boxes. You have your file names on them and such, and you can see that. You can see a couple of these have some stars on them, and we're going to get back to that in just a minute. One thing that I like about Bridge that makes it very helpful is you can look at the information from when you took your picture. So this picture, for example, was shot with an f4.0, 1/470th of a second. The ISO was 64. It was auto white balance, and it looks like it had evaluative metering, which we haven't talked about, but we might learn more about that later. It shows you the size of the file as far as the dimensions, the DPI or PPI that it was shot in, the type of color, which is RGB, which we may get into a little bit later in the class, and then the size of the file, that it's 1.83 megabytes. If you look down the side, you can also find some information about the file name, again the type of file, when it was shot, when it was modified, again some more information about the file size in this area, and there's quite a bit of information that's embedded in the file on the camera. Now the pictures that we're looking at here are from my fall 2015 first term class, and some of the favorite pictures that they chose at one point during the class, and you can see the file tree here of how we find the pictures on your computer. So if you want to go at whatever point and look for pictures, you can just go through the file tree like this and find wherever you need to go, just like you would on the computer. So these are in my classroom folder in Google Drive, photo first term 2015 folder, and then in the favorite photos folder on in that class. As you look at the pictures, they're the size that they are there, but if I want to make them bigger, I can just hit Control plus or Control minus to make them smaller, or I can use the scroller at the bottom and make them bigger or smaller this way. You can also make them bigger by clicking on them and then just hitting the space bar, and then I can go through them with the right or left arrow or up and down and go through the pictures, and I can look at them in more of a slideshow presentation look. And that's nice sometimes if you're showing people your pictures, or if you want to go through them faster. It's nice to not have all the other stuff on the screen to distract from the pictures. Okay, so now we're going to be back in this view here, and the most important thing I think I want to show you is how to star your pictures. And this is when you're going through and editing a bunch of pictures. It's important that you do it this way because it'll help make it a lot easier for you to narrow down which one do you think is the best picture that you want to try to use. And imagine if you have 300 or 400 pictures that you've taken somewhere and you need to narrow them down, that sometimes it can be kind of daunting to remember which ones are your favorite and to compare certain pictures against each other. And ultimately what you want to do is get down to your best pictures. So one thing that you can do is put the stars on them, and right now I've taken all the stars off the pictures that were on there before, and I want to show you how to do this. So you can just click on, I'm going to just click on this picture and say that this is one of my favorite pictures, that as I go through my first time through, I'm going to click on it and give it a star. Let me show this so it has all of them up there. And maybe I like this picture, I'm going to put a star on it. And I like this picture, so I'm going to put a star on it. And I like this picture, so I'm going to put a star on it. So as you look through there now, this has gone from having 26 with no rating to 22 with no rating, and there's 4 with a rating. And so now when I click on the star here, it's going to just show those 4 pictures that I put the rating on. So that helps you narrow them down. Imagine again, like I said, if you had 300 pictures, maybe even more. Professional photographers might go out and take hundreds and hundreds of pictures at any given time. So then once I've narrowed them down, say I've narrowed them down from 500 pictures to 100, then I can go through and look at those pictures, and the ones that I like better, I can put 2 stars on. And then maybe it's just those 2. Now when I click on 2 stars, click off the 1 stars and just click on the 2 stars, and those are the only 2 that show up. So that's a really important way to narrow down your pictures and to give it, make it a little bit more efficient for you to find out to find out which picture that you like the best. You can also narrow down your photos other ways too. You can, by the type of file that they are here. Maybe you've put some keywords in there. You can add keywords over on this side. You might be able to narrow it down by the date. These pictures were all taken, not all of them, but several of them taken on different dates. The dates that they were created. So you could, if you know you took something on the 16th of September or in that area, you can click on that and it's going to just show me the ones that were taken on that specific date. Or the date that you know you made a bunch of edits to pictures on a certain day. You can look under date modified and search it that way and look at it that way. So it's important that you use this program because it'll make it a lot easier for you in the long run. If you name your photos in the way that I show you to do that, it'll help you out because it just helps you remember where things are and understand how to go get them later on. A couple other things that you can do is you can add your name in here. That'll add it to the actual file, and you can do that all at one time. So if I took all these pictures and I want to add my name, I can just go in here and put under creator, I can type my name, and then when I click off of that, it's going to add that to every picture. I'm going to hit apply. So now when I click on any of these pictures by themselves, my name should be under creator, but it's not. Now it's there. It took a little bit of time. There's a little bit of a delay from when you type it in to get to when it gets there. So I'm going to go ahead and select all those now and erase my name off of that since I was not the creator of these. Hit apply, and that will disappear off of those files in a second. See there, it's gone. Alright, so that's one thing that you can do to that. You can add your name under there for the copyright. And it's important that you have that because if you created these pictures, you want to know that, and it's a good way to track down whether somebody took a picture of yours without your authorization, and you would be able to find that out if you can get a hold of their original file. Now another thing that Bridge can do that'll save you a lot of time is to rename your photos. If I go up here into Tools and go to Batch Rename, I can rename all my photos at one time. I have to go back and select all of them, and I'm going to go to Tools, Batch Rename, and this is going to call up. And this is the format that I would use. Date time first, using the year, month, date format, and then on the text I'd put an underscore, then what I'm going to call it, then an underscore, and then the sequence number. And you want this to start with 1, assuming that these are new photos. And then you can see what it's going to look like down here, 15/08/24, because it's using the created date. If you want to change it to the modified date, it'll change that date for you. But it's using whatever is embedded in the pictures. And I would just stick with the created date. And for most of them, they're going to be the same if you shot them on the same date. And then the sequence number. So you have the underscore before and after your name, and then the sequence number 0001, and it'll change them in order. You can see that I've selected 25 files right here, so it'll renumber them from 0001 to 0025. If I hit rename, I'm not going to hit rename because I don't want to rename all these, but you can rename them and move them to another folder, to copy them to another folder. So moving them would take the files, rename them, and move them. Copy would make a copy of them with the new name and move them to another folder. And you can do that. There'd be instances when you might want to do that too. But I'm going to click out of this because I don't actually want to change the names on these. There's some other tools under here you might use at some point. And in Photoshop, there's the processor, lens correction, things like that. Photo Merge is a neat tool that if you took a bunch of pictures side by side and wanted to merge them into one to do like a really nice panoramic photo, it does that automatically. I can show you guys how to do that another time. The last thing I want to show you is just to open a picture. You just find your photo that you want to open, double click on it, and Bridge and Photoshop are linked, so it's going to open Photoshop automatically for me. And so they work together. When I save it, it'll save it back, so you can again see it in Bridge. And that is all we're going to have for this part of the lesson. The next lesson I'm going to have for you will be some of the basic functions of Photoshop that I want you to know that you'll do for every photo that you turn in. So I'm going to stop this now, and we'll move on to the Photoshop lesson after this.